Welcome to High School Strength Systems. High School Strength Systems is a community that's built around a course for helping PE teachers and high school strength and conditioning coaches or high school sport coaches that are trying to develop their athletes and their students in the strength and conditioning environment. Oftentimes, the case with high school strength and conditioning is that the district or the school principal gives you the keys to the weight room because you're PE certified or because you coach a sport, and they say, hey, go run strength and conditioning. But there is no education on how to run a room with 40 plus kids and figure it out. And oftentimes that's the problem, is we're just figuring it out. So with high school strength systems, this is a course that's built for PE teachers, sport coaches that want to provide good strength and conditioning for their students, for their athletes, but not really sure where to start or how to do so. So this course, let's go through it. This course with high school strength systems is built for that coach, that teacher, to be able to eventually be their own strength coach, be the one that is building their own program and building their own system that fits their school and scenario. Because no school has the same layout, the same equipment, the same constraints, the same school schedule. Our job is unique because it's not something where we can replicate exactly what everybody else is doing or others are doing. And you can't really copy somebody else's stuff well, because oftentimes they might have equipment or things that are different in their scenario and their environment. So phase 0, the first block, your first block as the strength coach is a free 8-week on-ramp for PE teachers and sport coaches who have inherited the weight room and need a real system, not just random workouts. With it, you can run a real 8-week block before trying to design your own system and to design a system that will be for you and for all of your athletes, the best for you and your school. But before you're learning how to do that, like, you've got to hit the ground running somewhere. And so this on-ramp 8-week block helps you do that. Most coaches didn't choose to become the strength coach and didn't choose the weight room on purpose in this way. They inherited a weights class or a group of athletes because they're a PE teacher, there's a weights class, or because they're a sport coach and they want their athletes to lift because they know how beneficial that will be for their athletes as far as injuries go and to help you gain a dominant edge over your competition. That becomes a necessity. So we typically get PE teachers thrown into a high school strength and conditioning setting, and PE teacher education programs don't really teach us what it looks like in practice with 40 plus kids or 30 plus kids. One kid's injured and you have freshmen through senior groups, and it can be kind of a mess. So typically people borrow an old workout or they piece something together based on their knowledge of what they did when they were an athlete. So this 8-week block, it's not going to be a sample workout. It's a real 8-week block for you to run in your high school. It's built for the high school setting. It's a 4-day total body base block designed for 14 to 18-year-old athletes and can take into account the typical school constraints. You can adjust it a little bit if you need to. And if you have a 5-day school week, add in some conditioning and some other things, and you'll be able to adapt it to your system really, really easily. It gives you a repeatable structure. So every day is going to follow the same flow. You're going to have warm-up, plyometrics, sprint drills, and then your primary lifts and accessories. And then there's coach support built in. So there's a guide and loading charts and information for you. So you're not just inventing this out of thin air, but you're using what I've given you. You're going to download it, print it, put it up in your weight room, and then you're going to have a real system that you can follow. So in the free classroom on our school account, this is going to help you get the ground running and help you get your on-ramp going. So you're going to download the packet, the foundations program, the coaching guide, and the loading charts. You're going to pick based off of what your class schedule or your athlete schedule looks like. You're going to use the schedule that fits with that class, and it shows you how in the guide. So you're going to click that, download it, and you're going to be able to run the schedule based on what your class and your needs are. So you're going to run a similar daily structure every day. You're going to have warm-ups, plyos, sprint drills, main lifts, accessories, and core. And then you're going to be able to go around and actually coach the room and set the standard. You're going to use simple cues. You're going to be consistent. You're going to have some order, and you're going to have some structure to your weight room environment. So your job isn't to reinvent the plan. Your job is to run the room. Your job is to make sure you have the room set up for what you need that day. Have the stations ready, the plates out, whatever equipment you're using, have it ready to go. Have a few simple cues that go with the program that you can use to coach. And when you're going to go coach a kid, you're going to use 1 or 2 cues at the most. Typically, it's easiest if you can give a kid 1 cue, 1 thing to work on, or 1 thing they did well, and then move on and focus on coaching and repeating that throughout the whole room with every kid in your strength and conditioning setting. And then you're going to use the charts that I give you. So you can download both of those charts so your athletes know how to load the bar and how much weight is on the bar when they load it. That's a free resource I got from Twitter that I adapted to the high school strength systems. And then the other one is a percentage chart so that you can make sure your athletes are progressing the intensity of the strength training that they're doing. And that one is one that I got from the NSCA and adapted it to high school strength systems as well. So what you should have as a coach by the end of phase 0, you're going to do this free classroom on the high school strength systems course. And what you're going to have by the end of phase 0 is athletes who know the pattern. They're going to know how the class is structured, what to expect, and what their daily system, what their daily training is going to look like. You're going to know, they're going to understand the basic warm-ups, the basic lifts, and everything's going to feel familiar. So you as a coach can then just go and focus on coaching. They're going to have a block run in the room, in their room. So it's not a theory. It's not something that you just copied off the internet. You're going to have a true tried and tested 8-week block with your kids according to your schedule and with your equipment. And then you're going to have clarity on the gaps. So you're going to be able to see clearly, what is my annual plan not providing right now? What could an annual plan build and be? How could I build off of this to create an annual plan? How do I adjust now for the kids that are in season and are focused on the sports they're playing right now? And then how do I build and bring freshmen into a weight room with a bunch of sophomores, juniors, and seniors that have been there, done that, know what they're doing? And how do I bring these freshmen up to speed? And as well, like, you're going to work on speed work, communication, and culture. Those are going to be the next questions. And those are going to be the things that, like, running this 8-week program is going to give you the opportunity to see what am I missing? And how can I add this? And then that leads you to taking the academy course. So the High School Strength Systems Coach Academy. There's the foundations course that gives you the first 6 to help you build your program as far as program design, the session structure, the first building your own and learning how to design your own program according to your needs. And then there's the full academy that is 17 lessons that teaches you to be a strength and conditioning coach, not just a PE teacher who's running weights. Phase 0 proves that you can run a real 8-week block in your school. You can manage a room with a repeatable structure, and you can stop just trying to survive the class and start actually coaching it. The academy teaches the philosophy, long-term athlete development, and the universal athlete. It teaches you what that looks like and how to approach those 14 to 18-year-old high school kids. It teaches you how to plan your annual training calendar, your training blocks, your onboarding of brand new athletes, and then how to approach plyometrics, sprint mechanics, testing, communication, culture, and leadership in your school. After phase 0, then the foundations in the academy course is where we go next. So when you finish this video, open the roadmap and start week 1. Start module 1, week 1 in the High School Strength Systems Academy. You're going to watch this overview to frame the journey and make sure you know what the expectations are. You're going to go download the roadmap and grab the foundation packet. So you're going to download the printable materials, the actual foundation program, the guides and charts that go with it that you can print and put up in your weight room. And then you're going to start as soon as possible, start running the block, start running that full 8-week program, start week 1, and let your 8 weeks create proof and momentum. When you're done with all that and you're in school, this classroom is the blueprint classroom, and that's where you should be seeing this video. The foundations course is 6 lessons that are focused on building and programming. It's focused on long-term athletic development, the universal high school athlete, movement patterns, the annual plan, block design, and your strength first, the philosophy and approach that you can take with your athletes. It gives you pattern focus based on these core patterns, movement patterns. They're going to give you pattern focused videos and demonstrations. And it's also going to give you a bunch of supplemental materials that you can use, foundation syllabus for your class so you can improve the structure and expectations going into a school year, the daily session, what that should look like, the standards and how you're going to align it to meet your state PE standards, as well as a full movement library. And then you're going to have your exercise library videos. So you're in that course, in the foundations course, for a year's access, you're going to get over 100 exercise videos, the full course on how to build the actual program and structure of a session and a year. And then if you feel really confident about that and love it, then that's where the full High School Strength Systems Academy comes in. The Academy is 17 lessons where you become not just somebody facilitating and owning the weight room, but you become your own strength coach. You become the strength coach that can program for your high school athletes, that can handle the situations and scenarios that come up in the high school environment, and that can provide a year-over-year legacy building program that will change your athletes' lives from not just this year, but 10 years in the future. So it goes through those first 6 lessons in the foundations course, how you're going to onboard new athletes, what's unique in the constraints in the high school environment, the movement prep and correctives that is going to be for our injured athletes, and then how are we going to help athletes prepare for the injuries and common concerns of their sport. Gives you the plyometrics guide and how to approach plyometrics for your high school athletes, sprint mechanics, then testing and assessment. How are you going to test your progress over time? Going to give you the full picture and how to blend and combine everything, and then teach you how to be the coach in the weight room that isn't just standing in the corner, but is coaching kids and making them better when it comes to the training that they're doing. This has a ton of additional supplemental materials, cue sheets, guides, how to coach certain things. Everything that you can think of is in the supplemental materials here. And then the putting it all together guides, these appendices give you 6 overviews that are pages and pages of this is what you should do, this is how you're going to do it. This is all based on my PhD research and the future dissertation that I'm going to write. And that's where you're going to get so much value that nobody else can teach you. You're going to become a real strength and conditioning coach, not just somebody that's a weights teacher or a coach taking their teams or their